Hello, my cookies, and welcome. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I have a spicy shrimp stew, soup, whatever you want to call it. Delicious. It's hearty. It's winter. We need something with a little bit of heat and a little bit of warmth that just warms you from the inside out. It's full of flavor, and best of all, these are all things you can get in the winter. Now that we know what we're doing, gather our ingredients. You are going to need any combination of seafood that you like. I have 2 pounds of shrimp. These are a little bit big, so I have to cut them down. Cod is nice here. Halibut works as well. Do a pound and a pound, whatever you want. Mix and match. You're also going to need some heavy cream. Can't do heavy cream. Coconut milk in place of the cream works beautifully. You're going to need a whole bunch of cilantro here. Some limes, garlic, large onion or small and medium. I like pickled cherry peppers. They're delicious. Can't always find them in the store. Pickled jalapeno will work fantastic here as well. I'm going to be using some Aleppo. Feel free to omit this. I just like it's going to add a little bit more peppery depth and a little bit more heat. Completely optional. I got some whole peeled tomatoes, this 28-ounce can. I got a green bell pepper. Same with the red bell pepper. Last but not least, some salt. Now that we know what we're doing and we've gathered our ingredients, let's get started. First things first, I am going to make kind of like a topping that goes on top of this soup. And this is that spicy element. I'm going to be using those jalapenos. I'm going to try and gussy it up with a little bit of extra green from cilantro just to make it a little bit brighter. But this will allow people with different spice tolerances, like me with a really low one, to serve themselves, and it doesn't make the whole soup extra spicy. So we're going to be using a food processor. It keeps our prep at a minimum. So I got my food processor here. I'm going to start with these pickled jalapenos. I'm going to want about 1/3 cup here, and it's okay. Get some of the juice in there. That's fine. Add some nice brininess. I got a very small onion here, so I'm just going to use the whole thing. And I'm just going to cut a teeny bit smaller. Throw it in here. Let's go ahead and pulse this up, scraping it down as needed. I'm just going to pulse this 10, 12 times. All right, we're looking good right now. We've got it really finely chopped in here. Any big pieces you can get out. Now we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, salt, and some cilantro just because I want it to kind of pop. I want it to be a nice green pop here. About 1/4 cup olive oil here. Now for my cilantro, I'm just going to throw in leaves and stems on them, but not these really thick, gangly stems. 3, 4 sprigs here. Yeah, this looks good. Here we go. Let's do a few pulses here. This looks fantastic. I love the smell. We're going to season it to taste with a little bit of salt. You can clean out your food processor if you want. You're going to be using it again. I'm just going to kind of scrape it out and leave it as is. Let's do our shrimp real quick. Because my shrimp are big, so I need to cut them up. You won't need to do this if you use other fish or smaller shrimp. You will need to cut the fish up, though. So I have peeled, deveined my shrimp. I really just want to cut them up so they're bite-sized, because there's nothing worse than getting a spoonful of soup and then there's like this massive thing that you can't like take a bite of. So I'm just going to kind of cut them kind of in half. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Making sure there's no shells left on them, no veins I missed. But I love shrimp because it is a year-round thing. You can get this frozen. That's fine. I buy them frozen all the time. So now it's time for the garlic. I got small cloves here. You probably need about 4 to 5. Don't be afraid of flavor. I have more because they're small. So I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to mix this around. Get a little salt in there. I got kosher salt. Probably do about 1/2 teaspoon. Shrimp are already pretty salty, so you don't need a ton here. So I'm going to do about 1/2 teaspoon. Kosher salt, which table salt is probably 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to put a little bit more olive oil in. You don't need a ton. I don't want this to be a greasy soup. Shrimpies, we're going to set them aside. So we did our topping. We're kind of marinating our shrimp right now. Now it's time to do the base of this soup. I got 1 28-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes. Oh, look at that gorgeousness. We're going to get some onion in here as well. So this is close to a large onion. So let me just use half here. All right, so I'm just going to cut this up pretty coarse. Throw it in there. Now it's time for some cilantro, or as the Brits and Australians say, coriander. I'm just going to use kind of the top here, stems and all. It's pretty potent, so I'd say maybe a quarter cup total here. It seems more, but when you pack it in, this is like a quarter cup. I got a new bag of Aleppo pepper. My other one was like 5-10 years old. Half a teaspoon, that's it. I'm gonna put half a teaspoon in that topping as well. So half a teaspoon in the base here, and then a half teaspoon in the topping. Completely optional, don't worry. All right, I'm just gonna run this. I'm just gonna process it. I want it really smooth. 30 to 60 seconds, depending on your food processor. Let's get these peppers going. I'm not throwing this into the base. I want some chunkiness other than the shrimp. So I'm gonna get that from these peppers. So I'm gonna do about 1/2 inch pieces here, between a 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. Don't go smaller. It'll get too soft. You want that texture. Fantastic. Let's head on over to our stove. Get a couple tablespoons of olive oil in here. Start heating it up over some medium heat. Oil's hot. Let's get it in there. I'm going to saute these peppers for about 5 minutes. I want them softened, but still with a little bit of texture, al dente, if you will. I'm going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon salt here. So I have my soup base, the tomato mixture, cilantro, onion. I'm just going to get that in now. Just gonna cook this, try and get a little bit of that rawness out of here. 3 to 5 minutes. I'm on medium heat right now. So I got this bubbling and I'm just gonna kind of stir it. 3 to 5 minutes here. Oh, that smells good. Onion, cilantro, peppers. I got a cup of heavy cream here. You can do coconut milk. I'm gonna continue to cook this 3 to 5 minutes, stirring it, medium heat. Just kind of want it bubbling. Is this a good time to tell everyone I'm lactose intolerant and I'm probably going to eat all of this? And this heavy cream will destroy me from the inside out, but it'll be worth it. All right, you know what? It's been a couple minutes. All right, I say cook it 3 to 5. I'm going to crank the heat, really bring this up. Now the shrimp, I want to cook through with carry over cooking. So it's going to be off heat. All right, we got a pretty rapid boil here. Let's get our garlic marinated shrimp in here. Take it off the heat, stir it in. I want every little bit of shrimp covered here. All right, I got a Dutch oven. I'm gonna cover that. 10 minutes, I'm gonna stir it, reassess the shrimp. If the shrimp's cooked through, we're good. If not, after I stir it, I'm gonna let it sit for about 5 more minutes. If I have to, I'll put it back on the heat. I don't think I'll have to. I think the pieces are small enough. Let's get a little bit more cilantro as like a topping. All right, I'm chopping up this cilantro. I'm leaving it pretty big. All right, lime juice. I'm going to do about 1 lime. I want a couple tablespoons here. You can always serve with lime wedges too. It's been about 8 minutes. I'm just going to stir the shrimp just to see how it's cooking through. And I'm actually at the same time, I'm going to stir in my lime juice. All right, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Definitely needs this stir though. Let's see some of the ones on top are still a little bit under. Some of these other ones are looking like this one looks a little bit under on that side. I'm just gonna nestle it down in there. It's the pot. It's still hot. I want that to cook through gently. That was what, 8 minutes? Set a 4-minute timer. That'll give me 12 minutes total. I'm gonna stir in the cilantro now. Shrimp, I think, looks good. This looks fantastic. Let me taste this just for seasoning. Need salt. Generous amount of salt here. Let's taste this for salt too. Putting about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in this. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this green deliciousness right across here. I'll put a little squeeze of lime on here. All right, here we go. I'll get a little bit of this spicy goodness on here. I cut the shrimp and look, it fits on the spoon. If I hadn't have done it, it would have just been too big. Wouldn't have been a nice bite. Let's get this in. This is phenomenal. The shrimp, that seafood really is gonna be the star of the show. I was a little worried because I wasn't really cooking off that raw onioniness. Because remember, we blended that onion with the tomato, but there's no raw onion there. You get that creaminess from the cream we put in. The tomato is there. It started turning from that acidic kind of tomato into more of a savory tomato, but it didn't go all the way. So it's nicely balanced there. The lime really makes things pop. The cilantro finishes. And when you get a little bit of that jalapeno-ness, it's just bright. It's acidic. It makes things pop, complements that shrimp flavor. And then you just get the heat on the back end. My lips are on fire. Like, I'm eating this right now and I feel like nice, warm palm trees, sunshine. Now I look outside and it's snowing and ice and there's just fury. But inside here, I'm just warm and it's different. It's new. It's not something you probably had before. So that was spicy shrimp soup. If you like what you saw, don't forget to check me out on YouTube. I'm also on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.